they're turning into the enemy. And I don't say that lightly. But then to release his name, date of birth and where he lives, knowing there's jihadists out there who are going to want to kill him.
I think the problem is now the police are not upholding the law in this country. They're upholding the ideology of the government. And I noticed a shift in your demeanour in terms of the establishment. We've always been pretty anti-government in this show, but I think you're hardening now, aren't you, Nick, a bit around all this?
I am, especially with the police. I've spent years making excuses for the police, Greater Manchester Police, and that's because I know many of the officers. I've worked with them in police stations when I was based in police stations for the council. I've trained police officers, I've devised patrol plans, I've devised projects. I've worked with the police on and off for 20 years, and I don't have a problem with the vast majority of the lower ranks frontline staff. But I think I've had it now with the senior police officers. They're not on our side. I think they're political appointments now, and they're just pushing the narrative that gets them promoted, and the ones who believe in it get promoted. They're turning into the enemy, and I don't say that lightly. They're turning. I can't after the weekend when they arrested that guy, which I don't agree with. But then to release his name, date of birth and where he lives, knowing there's jihadists out there who are going to want to kill him. It's like, that was a warning to all of us. That was the police saying to us, you'll do as you're told, otherwise we're going to be complicit in your assassination. You'll do as you're told.
You also see a number of episodes, and we've seen it over the last couple of years, the Hare Hills riots, where nobody was arrested. During the actual Southport riots, where we found that any Muslims were found carrying knives and weapons, and the police just told them to take them back to their mosques and go, rather than arresting them or whatever. The two-tier policing we've seen during the Southport riots, people arrested for tweets. We talked about Joey Barton being arrested by the police for tweets again. And then this issue with the Quran, and you start to realise you have a very corrupt, a very polarised police force who are acting against the interests of a lot of native British people in this country.
They are. I'm still not sure if it's by design or if it's cowardice. And either way, I don't care what the answer is. I don't care. I'm looking at the results. Is it by design? And I think partly it is by design, but it's also cowardice. The police in this country now are scared stiff of civil disturbances and riots. And what they're saying to themselves is, oh crap, we've got a guy burning the Quran in Manchester city centre. We need to arrest him. Not because he's a problem, but because if we get 50, 200 Islamic nutjobs in the city centre now rioting and killing people, we're going to be held responsible for that. Their job isn't necessarily to prevent civil disturbances. Their job is to enforce the law. And if the law states you can burn the Quran because you own that copy, then you should be able to burn it.
Yeah.
The police's job is to deal with the reaction to that and crack some heads and tell other people in this country we have freedom of speech. We have freedom of expression. You can burn, if you own something and you're not a danger to someone else by burning it in a building and stuff like that. But he was outside in the open air. And that's an acceptable way of demonstrating and protesting in this country.
Yeah.
And we're not willing for us to run our police force by being afraid of bullies on the streets.
Yeah. And if they were concerned there would be a reaction to that, then the job of the police in that situation is to go there and defend that man. As he stands there burning the Quran, they should be forming, and if there's a group of jihadists who are trying to destroy our ability to have free speech and free expression in this country, they should have formed a protective ring around him to stop those people doing that.
Exactly.
But instead, they arrested him. Because I think the problem is now the police are not upholding the law in this country. They're upholding the ideology of the government.
Yes.
The ideology of the what we call the Uni Party. The Conservatives, Labour, the same thing. They've been promoting this ideology now for nearly 2 decades, and that's all the police are there to do now, basically.
Yeah. And they're afraid of disturbances. And part of this is because we've got far too many woke people and women in the top echelons now of the police.
Yeah.
Women are more risk averse than men.
Yeah.
Women are more likely to go, oh, we need to talk about this. Sometimes we need to send in the riot squad. Sometimes we need to send in the horses.
Yeah.
If you take this to the nth degree, what this really says is if there's enough of you in Manchester, we can stop you having any rights. If we can stop you burning a book, it means we can stop you shopping there. We can stop you speaking out. We can stop you leaving your house if there's enough of us, because the police will always come down on our side because there's more of us and they're afraid of violence. That's not a democratic society.
No.